Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Karen. I went to an international school in Shanghai and took IB. I got 41 out of 45, which is not the best at our school, but it's good. I feel like it would be beneficial to share my study tips and how I survived IB. Before starting this video, I would like to clarify that I didn't went to any extra classes outside of school, and this is just my personal study tips. I know everyone has different study habits, so I'm not saying that if you follow my tips you will 100% get above 40, but I feel like it would improve your score. In IB, you need to choose 6 courses, 3 HL and 3 SL. For me, the HL courses I took are EnglishB, Geography, and Chemistry, and SL courses are ChineseA, Language and Literature, Physics, and Math. Tip number 1. Always be ahead of schedule. We all know that being an IB student, you have an overwhelming amount of work. You have EE, IAs, CAS, coursework, orals, TOK, the list goes on and on. If you don't have a plan or a schedule, you will find that things would pile up. So for me, what I would do is that, for example, a work is due on Wednesday, I would finish it before Tuesday and check one more time before handing it in. It gives me time to really think about the task instead of rushing through. The reason why I go over it before uploading is that I can find silly mistakes reading through my own work after a while. I find that if you check immediately after you finish the work, I wouldn't find any mistakes or typos. So give yourself enough time. You'll find that deadlines of IAs are really close to each other. You're not going to finish them in time with the best quality you can give if you try to rush all of them in a short amount of time. Tip number 2, revise weekly. The coursework of IB is hard. There are lots of new knowledge each week. If you leave the review to the week before the exam, you won't do well. Revise weekly. Trust me, it won't take you as much time as it sounds. If you review every week, you won't have to remember loads and loads of information before tests. It would just be refreshing your memory. It's like a gradual process. Also, if you fully understand the previous content, it will be easier for you to follow in class when learning new content. So it's definitely worthwhile to do this extra thing. My third tip is sleep. You need to have a sufficient amount of sleep. I'm saying at least 7 hours. You may look at me and say, what? 7 hours? I'm an IB student. How can I sleep 7 hours every day? I'm telling you, I sleep at 10:30 every day and wake up at 6. If my calculation is correct, I sleep like 7.5 hours every day and even longer in weekends. It's really important because, like I said, you learn a lot in IB. In order for your brain to process the massive amount of information you gain every day, it needs rest. Also, if you sleep enough, you will find yourself more efficient and more focused in class. My classmates stayed up late mostly for 2 reasons. 1, they were trying to meet the deadline. This won't happen if you follow my first tip, that is to be ahead of schedule. Second reason is that they were on their phone, they were on social media, they were watching TV, and this links to my 4th tip, relax but not too much. Of course we need to relax, but don't relax too much. When I say too much, I mean that you spend way more time in relaxation than in schoolwork. Like I said, many of my classmates stayed up late because of those distractions. I think it's better if you set yourself a plan. For example, I work for an hour and then I rest for 10 minutes and then I go back to work for another hour. You'll find yourself very efficient if you can balance your relaxation and your work. My last tip is also about relaxation and CAS. That is to combine your interest with CAS and don't forget to challenge yourself. CAS is like the easiest thing to do in IB. Don't quote me, but you can also fake CAS. if you want to. Well, but CAS is extremely beneficial. I don't recommend you to fake it. I want you to benefit the most out of it. You can use your interest. You can do CAS as a relaxation. You can do things that you already love to do. For example, be a basketball coach if you like playing basketball. Also, CAS is the opportunity for you to step out of your comfort zone and challenge yourself. For example, I went rock climbing. If you know me, you will know that I'm not a person who wants to risk my life. But well, I did. Although I was panicking the whole time, looking back at this experience, I don't regret it. After that, I found myself not that afraid of height as I used to be. Well, you need to do CAS no matter what, so why not benefit the most out of it? Our CAS coordinator in the school said that you're not likely to remember the coursework you learned from IB, but the experiences of CAS will stay in your mind forever. I do have another 5 tips for writing essays. First one is to do it little by little, and that can only achieve if you start doing your essay ahead of time. If you try to complete an IA in one day, that quality will not be so good, right? But if you do it throughout the week, for example, you write like 200 words every day, that essay you produced will be of better quality. Second tip is to do references along the way. The third tip is to read examples but do not copy and paste. I believe your teacher must have told you about plagiarism and Turnitin. IB uses a system called Turnitin to check for plagiarism, and it's really strict. You have to reference everything you use from the textbook, from journals. But yes, you can read example IAs to get to know the structure, the language, and like how to present data. You can learn from the examples, but don't copy. Number 4, let at least a friend to proofread. It's better if this friend doesn't take the course. Your essay, IA, or EE should be understood by someone with almost zero background knowledge. Number 5, go to your teacher even if you don't have any questions. Go and ask them to see if your paragraph is okay, for example. They have restrictions on how many times a teacher can read your IA, but they didn't say how many times a teacher can look at a single paragraph. So that's a trick. After graduated and after like 20 or so days in university, do I think IB is beneficial for me? Yes, of course. My self-learning skills, research skills, communication skills, writing skills improved a lot in IB. And those are the skills that IB prepares you for university. Although it's only been 20 days of university, I feel like the amount of work is also overwhelming. It's more overwhelming than IB. I have to do a lot of self-reading. I have to do a lot of self-learning. I have to research a lot before the lecture so that I can follow the professor. I would say IB is hard, but university is even harder. So it's better to be prepared beforehand. That's why IB is so beneficial. IB also makes you a better person in terms of being well-rounded and being global-minded. That's why I feel like CAS is really beneficial and is the one thing that I enjoy the most in IB. Yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoy this video and good luck in IB. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!